Well, it's a day ending in Y in a year beginning with the number 2. What scientists refer to as interesting times. And the times here in Los Angeles are certainly interesting right now. You can probably hear it in my voice.
Yeah, it's
interesting voice.
Quite literally apocalyptic. I don't know how to put this in a way that seems like tempered or restrained at all, but like I have friends who have lost homes. I have friends, businesses who are just gone.
Yeah.
The entire city of Altadena, as of right now, I haven't gotten a good look of it, but there's hundreds of homes that have been affected by this.
Know a ton of people who've had to evacuate.
The Palisades is gone. They finally had news helicopters up this morning, and it's just gone. And there's more fires than that. It is... and even if you are not in a directly affected area of Los Angeles, like where we are, where we're even filming now is...
We're in a cloud, and it's a nasty cloud.
We're directly in the downwind portion of the Eaton fire, and it's only a few miles away. We haven't been evacuated yet, but...
and it's not just like, particulate ash. Like I've found some pretty big pieces of ash, like in my yard.
People are posting book pages. Yeah, it is not healthy out, so we're going to... try to stay in here as quickly as possible and then get home to, luckily, both of us got air purifiers last year. Smart, but yeah, it's horrific. So even if you're in a part of the city that's not directly affected by the destruction of the fires, you're breathing in toxic, horrible air right now. It's not great.
Very bad situation.
Yeah.
So yeah, amidst the ongoing drought that's been going on for like a decade now, and following one of the driest Decembers on record, where we got... I think it's sprinkled once.
Yeah.
Usually it rains at least a couple days in December.
It's been 8 months or so, they said, without any significant rain.
So amidst all that, this week, unusually strong Santa Ana winds, which blow dry desert air from the east to the west, created just the perfect environment for wildfires to pop up all around the LA basin, but particularly in the hills and foothills. The Pacific Palisades is where it started, and then we got Altadena, and then... more recently, we got
Silmar, and the Runyon Canyon.
And so like the Hollywood one seems to be controlled.
Yeah,
that one was worrying because there's a whole lot of civilization right there.
Yeah, there's all of the fires are extremely destructive to lots of civilization, historic buildings, animals, pets, wildlife, people, property. It's awful. It is awful. And the only thing I'll say is, it's not helping? A bunch of people online coming up with fucking insane conspiracy theories about what's going on here when there's no evidence that that's what's happening, or just any number of critiques about the leadership.
It's because of woke, and it's because
DEI initiatives and all of this.
And it's because a little creek up in Northern California that has a protected fish species, we could be using that water to fight fires right now.
Just everyone... shut the fuck up.
Also, people not understanding basic fluid dynamics. Like, why are fire hydrants 1,000+ feet up a hill having trouble supplying water to 20 fucking fire trucks at once?
Not that
there must be some fucking conspiracy.
Not that I wanted to spend the episode just going over the various number of falsities that are being spread online, but yes, it's a fucking wildfire that they were for a long time trying to put out with residential fire hydrants.
Yeah.
Because the winds were so bad, in some cases, upwards of 80 or 90 mile an hour gusts, they can't fly helicopters or the planes that drop water onto these things and fire retardant onto these things that stop them from spreading, hopefully.
Also the Palisades in particular, it's pretty isolated, narrow roads. People abandoned their cars in the middle of the street.
They had to bulldoze through them to get through.
It's hard to get a truck up some of these roads, much less a fire truck.
Yes.
So it was the perfect area for something like this to go down.
Yeah, and the perfect storm of winds, dry stuff. Look, here's the thing. We're all fucking dealing with it. We're currently in the midst of it. All of the stuff that's being churned up online about whatever you want to say it is, the concentration right now in this city, as far as I've seen and the people I know, is concentrating on people who have lost homes, lost property, need places to stay, donating supplies. I went to the Pasadena Evacuation Center last night, dropped off a ton of pillows and bags and toys for kids. Elliot's going to do a trip to Pasadena Paws later and hopefully donate some supplies there because there's a lot of pets in need.
A lot of people, you go to the shelters and you can't bring your dogs, so the dogs end up at the animal shelter.
So if you can help, then help. But if you're just going to talk shit online, mind your own fucking business for just a little while.
It's really disgusting how much this has been politicized immediately. And not just politicized, but politicized with misinformation and like a blame game when this is climate change. This is the results of climate change. There's definitely things our local government and state government probably could have done to better prepare themselves for this. But at the end of the day, like this is fucking nature and we are at its mercy.
And I understand. I feel it too. I've unfortunately been through a lot of tragedies in the past couple of years. It sucks. But everyone, the easiest thing you can do in times like this is find someone to blame, to put all of your problems on. And it's very easy to do that, especially with our local government. It's very fucking easy. They do a lot of bad shit all the time. But right now, the focus should be on helping your friends and neighbors, finding ways that you can help, donating if you can. I'm sure that in the coming days and weeks, we will do some sort of fundraiser once we figure out where the best place to put the most attention is. In the meantime, I have one up on my Instagram for Side Pie. It's a local pizza place that we loved. My run club went to it all the time. We would run from there. We've had a lot of great memories made there, and that is gone. So there's going to be a lot of, honestly, coming together and cleaning up, and that's what we should focus on. And we can get to the blame game and stuff later. I'm sure there's a lot to go around, but right now, if you want to contribute to LA, just shut the fuck up and donate, or if you live here, help.
Either help or shut the fuck up. But the Palisades and Altadena in particular, which are like nearly 20 miles apart, they've both burned like they've never burned before. It's been declared the most destructive fire in LA's history, and that was before even Hollywood lit up, destroying thousands of homes, killing at least a few people, and probably a lot more once the dust is settled. Filling the air citywide with absolutely toxic ash that way too many people are not taking seriously and are just going around on their walks and jogs and breathing that shit in like it's not a problem.
It is quite literally snowing ash outside.
So obviously we're both safe.
So far, there's it's still 0% containment in the winds.
I mean, we're like 7-8 miles from the nearest fire. Like, I mean, listen, anything could happen, but
so far, so good.
I'm not particularly worried. But yeah, it's a truly apocalyptic situation playing out. And while plenty of people are quick to play the political blame game, this is climate change and its consequences. The only political finger pointing with any real validity is about our state, local, and national leaders failing to adequately prepare for the inevitable, which will continue to happen year after year with increasing frequency. And even then, there's no simple short-term solution here that would have prevented this.
No, I'm sorry, it's just the consequences of a long, long time coming.
Yeah, this is really no different than saying, why didn't you stop that hurricane?
Yes, exactly.
Like, it's okay, what was I supposed to fucking do?
Yes.
These things happen, and the best thing you can hope for is that you're prepared and you can minimize the amount of damage it does, but they're gonna happen regardless.
Yes.
Anyway, very frustrating week, very depressing week.
It's not fun.
I probably shouldn't have been watching like KTLA 24/7.
I know.
But I did, and it's fucking heartbreaking.
We have been, unfortunately, mainlining tragedies over here. Watching on the news as people have lost everything they've ever worked for, their friends' businesses, and I'm dealing with my own shit too, and it's just fucking impossible to have all of this stuff compounding on itself. The only thing I can do is like this, which actually feels fucking good for the past couple of hours.
It does feel pretty good.
Feels somewhat normal here, so thank you for watching.
Anyways, the show must somehow go on because it is interesting times on all fronts, not just here.
Jimmy Carter! We can't even pay attention to Jimmy Carter's funeral today.
Did Biden even make it back on time? He was stuck in LA.
He's there. He was giving a speech when I left.
It was pretty funny that he got stranded in LA because, you can't fly anywhere while the sky is totally covered in smoke.
Well, it's a good thing he'll still be in charge in a couple weeks to make sure that everything in California gets handled. And definitely the new guy coming in has our best interest at heart.
Oh, for sure. He's definitely not using this as like a political football and using it to, threaten us with, despite I don't want to get into
Yeah,
it. But
again, there's time for that in the future. Things are on fire now. Let's get to some news that isn't our burning world.
yeah, so there's lots of news to discuss from the world of tech. Starting with the news that Mark Zuckerberg is clearly jealous of fellow tech oligarch Elon Musk's main character status in the Trump 2.0 era. And this week he made some announcements about his company that are very transparently an effort to appease the incoming administration.
Yeah, it was an offering laid upon a table.
Is pathetic.
Yeah, groveling.
I mean, it was already clear going back at least a decade at this point that, yeah, Mark Zuckerberg is a spineless creep whose only principles are self-preservation and wealth accumulation. And that was demonstrated more recently when he pledged a $1 million donation to Trump's inaugural fund, along with a bunch of other tech oligarchs, which, obviously it's an attempt to buy his way into the new president's good graces, since it's been shown to be a quite effective way to do that. He can be bought.
It's blatant. And now it's even more obvious because everyone's just doing it because they know it works.
Yeah. So this week he made announcements about content moderation on his various social networks, as well as an announcement of moving some of his teams to Texas.
Yeehaw!
Announcements that are clearly meant to appease Republicans, but presented in this maddening way where he's just doing this out of simple common sense, guys.
The funny thing about moving a bunch of people to Texas, as others have pointed out, is that Facebook's entire business is so spread out across the world anyway that the reasons that they're claiming to move things to Texas, it just is inaccurate to their own company
it makes
goals.
no sense, like, when you examine it even
It is clearly
partially.
a PR move.
But yeah, there is a popular idea that Silicon Valley companies are all just up in the Bay Area and everyone there is like a third generation woke libtard.
Yeah.
And he's playing into that.
Yeah. Well, to be clear, the framing of this news as Meta just now turning to the dark side or something, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, you're stupid.
They've been bad for a very, very long time. Facebook has been ground zero for brainworms for nearly 2 decades now. And any supposed efforts they've taken to combat that have been mostly for optics' sake, and in some cases, just never even happened on the back end. They just said that they did.
Yeah. Because, at the time, that was the politically, convenient stance to take.
Yeah.
And now things have changed, and they're taking the current politically convenient stance.
It is quite an understatement to just point out the massive shift over the past 2 months from a tech industry that was already ultra libertarian leaning, to like drop all facade.
It was just a bunch of guys waiting for the right excuse to get behind a Republican president.
But what is news is that they're kind of just dropping all the pretense now. They're signaling that despite already being the unofficial home of right-wing propaganda for some time, that it is now official.
Yep.
Anyways, here's what the new hype beast makeover version of Mark Zuckerberg announced via Threads, an app that no one should use and everyone should delete off their phones immediately.
I went on Threads for the first time in over a year to look at this thread.
Oh yeah?
And
were they talking about the RNC? Because that's how delayed everything on Threads is?
I mean, it was just from a UI perspective, I was sickened.
Awful. But here's what Zuckerberg said. It's time to get back to our roots around free expression and giving people voice on our platforms. Here's what we're going to do. 1, replace fact checkers with community notes, starting in the US. Okay. 2, simplify our content policies and remove restrictions on topics like immigration and gender that are out of touch with mainstream discourse. 3, change how we enforce our policies to remove the vast majority of censorship mistakes by focusing our filters on tackling illegal and high-severity violations and requiring higher confidence for our filters to take action. 4, bring back civic content. We're getting feedback that people want to see this content again, so we'll phase it back into Facebook, Instagram, and Threads while working to keep the communities friendly and positive.
That's politics.
Yeah,
Civic content is politics.
Politics and news, because they have deprioritized actual news for so long.
Yeah, they're bringing it back.
5, move our trust and safety and content moderation teams out of California and our U.S. content review to Texas. This will help remove the concern that biased employees are overly censoring content. And that concern is coming entirely from right-wing people.
I do like that he subtly does acknowledge that it's not real. It's just a concern.
We are going to move these to Texas because you're very concerned that this is happening.
A lot of you people think that the thing that really isn't happening is happening, so we're going to acknowledge that by making this gesture.
We've found after multiple years of trying to actually do things that simply jangling some keys in front of conservatives is all you really need to do.
It's true.
Hey, we got rid of DEI. Hey, the woke's gone.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess we can all drink Bud Light again.
That's all you got to do.
Is that
it's easy,
it?
very easy.
Is that it?
He also posted a video version of this announcement to Facebook where he looked ridiculous and went a bit more in depth on some of those bullet points, saying things like, after Trump first got elected in 2016, the legacy media wrote nonstop about how misinformation was a threat to democracy. We tried in good faith to address those concerns without becoming the arbiters of truth. But the fact checkers have just become too politically biased and have destroyed more trust than they created, especially in the US. Regarding topics like gender and immigration, he said, what started as a movement to be more inclusive has increasingly been used to shut down opinions and shut out people with different ideas. And it's gone too far. And regarding moving the content moderation to Texas, he said, as we work to promote free expression, I think it will help us build trust to do this work in places where there's less concern about the bias of our teams. And I guess let's just tackle that last point first, because shut the fuck up, Mark. It's absolutely ridiculous to claim that living in California makes content moderators inherently biased, but living in fucking Texas doesn't. You're relocating your content moderation team to a state where abortion is illegal and gender-affirming care is heavily restricted. Like, even if we're just going totally off vibes here, if California is supposedly this woke liberal monolith of a state in the public perception, it is moronic and very bad faith to say that, in contrast, Texas is just this apolitical, middle-of-the-road, centrist paradise. Fuck off and fuck you.
Yeah.
No one believes that. You don't believe that, Mark.
It's also very infuriating just at I hate to be sounding alarmist. I'm sorry. But if we go back in history to when some very bad people came into power and you just were like, oh, I think we got a couple too many busybodies over there at the fact-checking department. Sounds pretty goddamn ominous when faced with the reality that could be coming. I think we should be less proactive on checking if things are what people are saying are real, even our politicians.
Guys, we do live in a post-fact society, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And we're here to enable that.
Yeah, because he's fine, because he owns a fucking island in Hawaii.
Kellyanne Conway was right. Alternative facts are facts. And you can have as many facts as you want.
I'm just saying it doesn't bode well.
It really doesn't.
And I feel like I'm going crazy by thinking that this is alarming.
It's also, I mean, after using Blue Sky for the last several months, like, it's just so obvious that, like, the solution is just not having any algorithm at all and letting people decide what they want to see and what they don't want to see. That's another thing. When I went on Threads, like, obviously the default feed is the For You feed.
Yeah.
And it was like, having not seen a For You feed in so long, I was just like, what the fuck is all this shit? Get out of here.
Having said that, like, speaking of the algorithm and how you build it, I am apparently, look, I'm getting a lot different stuff from this fire thing than a lot of other people are. And and it's like, I believe them that if they scroll their Instagram or Twitter or whatever.
It's all they're seeing.
It's all they're seeing because that's kind of what they're fucking clicking on.
Yeah, their feed, the algorithm has decided that this is what they want to see, so we're going to give them more of it.
My brother is seeing a completely different story of these fires in LA than a lot of other people. I'll just say that much.
Yeah, I mean, it's a problem with any large natural disaster, but it's at least a lot of times it's in good faith. You're gonna get some facts wrong, but you're just trying to figure out an evolving situation.
But when you build your shit house brick by brick, don't be surprised when it smells like shit.
Actively bad faith shit pushed to push an agenda. It's very frustrating. Anyway, regarding the stuff about fact checking and censorship, again, this is pretty rich coming from the guy who is the most responsible person on earth for every boomer in this country, and a lot of boomers of all ages.
Yeah.
Brains being completely melted. Whatever censorship you were doing before clearly wasn't enough, Mark. Every idiotic conspiracy theory around right now festered and proliferated primarily on your dog shit platform. And there's no denying that. Wow. And if fact checking has disproportionately affected users who post right-wing content? Well, there's a very simple reason for that. Right-wingers lie more on social media. And that's not just our opinion. There is data to back this up, including a study published in Nature back in October, summarized here by phys.org. A new paper, Differences in Misinformation Sharing Can Lead to Politically Asymmetric Sanctions, published today in Nature, suggests that the higher quantity of social media policy enforcements, such as account suspensions, for conservative users could be explained by the higher quantity of misinformation shared by those conservative users, and so does not constitute evidence of inherent biases in the policies from social media companies or in the definition of what constitutes misinformation. It's really that simple.
Yeah, that study found that Trump supporters share roughly 4 times as much misinformation as Biden supporters, which would explain why they feel like they're getting fact-checked and censored more.
You are.
If we think of this like sports, it's like one team fouling 4 times as much as the other team and then yelling at the refs for not giving the other team more fouls.
What the hell?
And in the case of Facebook, the refs actually have, in fact, for years, been cutting the team that commits most of the fouls a lot of slack. Been letting a lot of those slide.
Yeah. I didn't see anything.
From 2020, BuzzFeed News posted this. On July 22nd, a Facebook employee posted a message to the company's internal misinformation policy group, noting that some misinformation strikes against Breitbart had been cleared by someone at Facebook seemingly acting on the publication's behalf. Quote, a Breitbart escalation marked urgent, end of day, was resolved on the same day, with all misinformation strikes against Breitbart's page and against their domain cleared without explanation, the employee wrote. The same employee said a partly false rating applied to an Instagram post from Charlie Kirk was flagged for priority escalation by Joel Kaplan, the company's vice president of global public policy. Kaplan once served in George W. Bush's administration and drew criticism for publicly supporting Brett Kavanaugh's controversial nomination to the Supreme Court. It appears that policy people have been intervening in fact checks on behalf of exclusively right-wing publishers to avoid them getting repeat offender status, wrote another employee in the company's internal misinformation policy discussion group.
And yeah, I mean, we both read that Peter Thiel book, The Contrarian, very good book, but there's a whole section in there about how Zuckerberg about 8 to 10 years ago was at this crossroads where conservatives kept getting mad at him. And so Peter Thiel arranged this big meeting with him and a bunch of them where they're just like, okay, yeah, you guys have like, you have a direct line. If anything pisses you off, just reach out to Mark and I'll take care of it. And that's very clearly been the policy for the entire Trump era, is that, yeah, they of course have the veneer of fact checking and, removing posts that are just flat out lies, but they have a lot of direct connections to the people who are publishing these lies, and they're cutting them a lot more slack than they would you or I.
And this is a problem that extends just from major accounts down to local news, down to the users themselves. If you go on any major news outlet, local news outlet, whatever, local reporter, whatever, go to like an Instagram post and go to the comments section and be prepared to lose whatever shred of faith in humanity you
don't
had.
even have to do that. Go to any local news live stream of the LA fires right now on YouTube
or TikTok
and just look at the live comments on it, because it is crazy. So many people are convinced that this was all started because there's evidence against P. Diddy.
So you're trying to burn down his mansion or something?
Yeah, I'm like, no, they've already got him dead to rights. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, there's a lot. We don't need to get into all the conspiracies.
Yeah, I just kept seeing that pop up. I'm like, what are they talking about? And then I finally figured it out.
Just outside of that, it is awful. And just the worst I've ever seen it, probably, since, I guess, the hurricanes that ravaged the East Coast a couple months ago. It is disheartening, it is upsetting, and it really, it paints a very bleak picture of humanity.
Yeah.
When we should be, again, looking for the helpers.
This is a time for coming together.
No, instead we're gonna drag each other down.
Aid. Yeah. What's the opposite of mutual aid?
Yeah.
So regarding the changes to how people are allowed to talk about topics like gender and immigration, Zuckerberg frames this as making things more in touch with mainstream discourse. But that's really just a nice way of saying that racism and transphobia are fair game now.
The overton window has
look
shifted.
The other way. It's actually cool to be racist and transphobic now.
Oh my God.
Wired actually looked into the specifics of how this would work by consulting Facebook's updated hateful conduct policy. And here's what they found. In a notable shift, the company now says it allows allegations of mental illness or abnormality when based on gender or sexual orientation, given political and religious discourse about transgenderism and homosexuality, and common non-serious usage of words like weird. In other words, Meta now appears to permit users to accuse transgender or gay people of being mentally ill because of their gender expression and sexual orientation. The company did not respond to requests for clarification on the policy. And here's another fun change. Removing language prohibiting content targeting people based on the basis of their protected characteristics, which include race, ethnicity, and gender identity, when they are combined with claims that they have or spread the coronavirus. Without this provision, it may now be within bounds to accuse, for example, Chinese people of bearing responsibility for the COVID-19 pandemic.
Oh, good. All I can say is I don't see that much has changed because I've done my fair share of reporting on Instagram. Now, I don't do it a lot, but if there is something just blatantly racist, misogynistic, or just hateful, I've reported it. And I could maybe count one instance where the post has been removed.
One thing I'm very curious about, because this has actually directly affected people I know who mostly post about stuff happening in Gaza, is that for the last year, their shit has been absolutely like shadow blacklisted or whatever. Like it just doesn't show up. A friend of mine, she's an activist and she mostly posts about Gaza, and like suddenly at one point, like 6 or 8 months ago, I have not seen one of her posts on my feed since then. I have to like go to her profile to actually see it.
That's also happened with local businesses who have put support for Palestine on their stuff.
So I'm real curious.
Just incidental to personal test case here, but
all right, Mark. So it sounds like we're allowed to post about Gaza now, and people won't have their posts throttled for talking about that. I guess we'll see. Because if not, it seems like a very selective, reconfiguration of your rules.
Yeah, but anyways, we've already gone over the obvious reasons for these changes, but to make it even more clear, here's The Verge. Trump's FCC chairman pick and current FCC commissioner, Brendan Carr, is a self-identified free speech defender with a creative interpretation of the First Amendment. In mid-November, as part of a flurry of lightly menacing missives to various entities, Carr sent a letter to Meta, Apple, Google, and Microsoft attacking the company's fact-checking programs. The letter was primarily focused on NewsGuard, a conservative bête noire that Meta doesn't actually work with. But it also demanded information about the use of any media monitor or fact-checking service, and it left no doubt about Carr's position on them. You participated in a censorship cartel that included not only technology and social media companies, but advertising, marketing, and so-called fact-checking organizations, Carr wrote. The incoming Trump administration and Congress, he continued, will take broad-ranging actions, and those actions can include both a review of your company's activities as well as efforts by third-party organizations and groups that have acted to curtail those speech rights.
It's weird that he would say that, and then a month later, Zuckerberg does exactly what.
Kneel down and kiss the ring, or we're gonna start finding something wrong.
But no, Mark came up with that idea independently. He's a very smart boy.
Yeah, it's the gold necklace.
And if that's not like illustrative enough, well, there's this.
Yeah.
Do you think he's directly responding to the threats that you have made to him in the past?
Probably. Yeah, probably.
He admitted.
Yeah.
There is, however, another less political reason for these changes that is very reminiscent of when Elon Musk got mad about getting less likes on his Super Bowl tweet than Joe Biden did. Here's the Wall Street Journal. Zuckerberg has been personally upset by Meta's system. In November 2023, he posted a picture of himself after surgery to repair a knee ligament he tore doing his hobby, mixed martial arts fighting. Still looking forward to it after I recover, the CAO wrote. Thanks to everyone for the love and support. The post initially received anemic attention on Facebook as a result of an algorithm change that slowed the spread of viral health-related content. Established after Meta staff determined that such material was frequently false or sensationalistic, the rule had ensnared the CEO's innocuous post, prompting Zuckerberg to personally demand a review of the rule and potential overreach in other safety measures. People familiar with the incident said it snowballed into a full-scale review of the company's algorithmic demotions. Meta spokesman Andy Stone played down the significance of the CEO's grievance, saying Tuesday's announcement was based on Zuckerberg's long-held beliefs.
Not enough people are seeing my posts.
These guys are all the same.
Clearly,
they're all a bunch of fucking grown-up dorks who still, the only thing they actually care about is people thinking they're fucking cool. That's the thing that primarily motivates them.
Yeah.
Everything else is just butter.
They're answering the long, I guess, rhetorical question. What do you get, the man that has everything? And I guess it's attention.
Attention.
That's the only thing they want if you have conquered everything, if you have everything you've ever fucking wanted, I guess all you need is the attention of, look, we're nobody. You're nobody. Nobody cares.
I mean,
But they care. They're like, this is not getting shared enough by people. Who cares about Mark Zuckerberg?
yeah. I mean, and we saw this I talked about it in the episode I did alone, but the Vivek Ramaswamy novel that he wrote on Twitter about how white people's culture makes them bad workers or whatever. But he's just like, it's really fucked up that everyone likes Stefan more than Steve Urkel. And it's like, and he cited like 3 other fucking shows from
none of them
the
made
90s.
sense,
And it's like, okay, so clearly this is like something that's been eating away at you for 30 fucking years.
Yes.
That like, it's not cool. It's wrong that nerds are treated like nerds and not like the coolest people on earth.
It also sucks that like therapy speak has become toxic because everyone started doing it, because these guys could really benefit from some actual real therapy.
Well,
like this is clearly some deep-seated issues.
I mean, the thing about like talk therapy specifically with narcissists is it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like this is a documented thing. Like there's a certain segment of society that like therapy actually just helps them hone their skills at being deceptive and self-absorbed.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't help. The only thing that would help would be them losing fucking everything and maybe having to hit rock bottom and reflect on it. But I'm not holding my breath.
Self-reflection, probably not a strong suit either.
Yeah.
Anyways, Meta is bad and their products make you dumber. But you already know this.
Yeah, it's not news.
It's just wild how much every tech oligarch is preemptively bending the knee to just lick the boot of this new administration in the most unsubtle way possible. And I get it, because they know that no one gives a fuck. In fact, half the country is going to cheer for it.
Yeah.
They're all clearly just following Elon's lead because Trump likes Elon, for now. And speaking of Trump, his obsession with annexing multiple other countries continued unabated this week. And it's getting pretty weird and a little bit scary. I mean, me personally, I feel so comfortable when a large portion of the country's on fire and the soon-to-be president is like, I think we should call it the Gulf of America. How about that? Doo-doo-doo.
Yeah, and then when the Democrats are like, yeah, sure, let's work together on that.
Well, maybe not then. I don't know. Anyways, here's the New York Times. President-elect Donald J. Trump refused on Tuesday to rule out the use of military or economic coercion to force Panama to give up control of the canal that America built more than a century ago and to push Denmark to sell Greenland to the United States. In a rambling, hour-long news conference, Mr. Trump repeatedly returned to the theme of American sacrifice building the canal and accused China, falsely, of operating it today. When pressed on the question of whether he might order the military to force Panama to give it up, in violation of treaties and other agreements reached during the Carter administration, or to do the same with Greenland, he said, no, I can't assure you on either of those two.
Oh, very, very cool. Anyway, it continues. We need them for economic security. The Panama Canal was built for our military, he said. Not true. Asked again if he would rule out the use of military force, he said, I'm not going to commit to that. You might have to do something. Mr. Trump's statements propelled his repeated calls for expanding American territory to a new level, one that is bound to roil 3 American allies: Panama, Denmark, which handles Greenland's foreign and security affairs, and Canada, which he has mocked as America's 51st state. On Tuesday, he made clear, though, that he was not joking, suggesting that if Canada remained a sovereign state, the financial cost to its trading relationship with the United States could be crushing. Be a real shame.
Be a real shame.
I mean, the stupidest part about it is making Canada the 51st state. Like, does he just not know that they have provinces?
No, it doesn't matter, because the Americans that he's talking to don't care.
Yeah, they don't care.
No one cares.
Like, it's a pretty good idea.
If you would assume in any normal operating procedure that you'd probably give statehood to like Puerto Rico and Guam before continuing to expand the United States of America. But no, instead we'll just keep doing land grabs under like.
Yeah.
It's
what if America, but bigger?
It's absurd.
Bigger is better.
Again, it's things are pretty bad right now, and the incoming administration is arguing about renaming the Gulf of Mexico, and just other such things. It's annoying. So hats off to everyone who credulously insisted that unlike Biden, Trump would be some sort of foreign policy dove.
He's making threats before he's even in office.
That's right. And if all that wasn't dumb enough, here's CBS News with some more dumb bullshit from our new former president.
President-elect Donald Trump says he plans to change the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, calling the move appropriate and criticizing Mexico for the migrants crossing the U.S. southern border. Trump made the comments during an open-ended Mar-a-Lago press conference, during which he also didn't rule out using military or economic coercion to bring Greenland and the Panama Canal under U.S. control. He takes office in 13 days. We're going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, which has a beautiful ring, Trump said. That covers a lot of territory, the Gulf of America. What a beautiful name. And it's appropriate. It's appropriate. And Mexico has to stop allowing millions of people to pour into our country. Trump ally Republican Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia said she would introduce legislation to that effect on Thursday morning. The American people are footing the bill to protect and secure the maritime waterways for commerce to be conducted. Our U.S. Armed Forces protect the area from any military threats from foreign countries, she said in a statement. It's our Gulf. The rightful name is the Gulf of America, and it's what the entire world should refer to it as. Bitch.
This is like, who was it that was it Marion Williamson? Who put forth the bald eagle thing like at the end of December? Fuck.
The Minnesota one.
Yeah. It's just like
Klobuchar.
Like, yeah. Who cares?
Yeah. Oh, cool. Thanks.
There's definitely something else we should be focusing on.
Yeah. I was really worried that we didn't have a national bird.
Or the Gulf.
Glad we fixed that.
I'm glad that it's like the Gulf of Mexico. The Gulf of. Just there's other things to worry about.
Yeah. It's just like, I mean, sure, change the name, whatever. But like expecting the rest of the world to also update their maps is very funny.
Yeah, it's
they're not gonna do that.
it's the next evolutionary step from when Trump brought out the Sharpie and extended the hurricane map.
Yeah,
he's just scratching out the Mexico and putting America and be like, everyone's got to say it now. You think I'm gonna call it the Gulf of Mexico ever again?
It's similar to when he was real in his first term. He was real mad that they changed the name of Mount McKinley to. I don't remember the name, but it's like the actual native name for it, and he would not shut the fuck up about it. It's very unfair to President McKinley.
Well, lots of fun stuff to look forward to coming soon. But the country may be a joke, but you know what's no joke? This episode's sponsors.
Hey.
That's right. This episode is brought to you by Huel. It's a brand new year, and we're all about setting goals and actually hitting them once we have time to do so.
Once the air is breathable.
Once the tragedies end.
Yeah.
That's where Huel, spelled H-U-E-L, the global complete nutrition brand trusted by millions, comes in. Their Black Edition ready to drink is a complete meal in a bottle. High protein, low sugar, and packed with all the nutrients your body needs to perform at its best. And right now, new customers can try it out for 15% off plus a free gift using our exclusive code TechNewsDay15. We love Huel because it's the fastest way to get all the protein and other nutrients our bodies need without having to worry about cooking or spending time and money on takeout.
I'm always forgetting to eat breakfast.
Yeah, and you'd be a kind of a jerk to use takeout right now, so I got my pack of Huel sitting right there.
Mm-hmm. Huel is a perfectly balanced meal designed by experts to provide all the nutrients your body needs from a meal. Huel takes the guesswork out of your healthy eating. It's for your most inconvenient meals. With no prep, no cooking, say goodbye to getting hangry and unsatisfying snacks. Just grab a Huel instead. They taste so good. Huel shakes actually taste like a milkshake, and they come in delicious chocolate or vanilla. Bonus is they're low sugar. Lastly, Huel is incredibly affordable. With high protein meals less than $5, it's a budget-friendly option that we're genuinely excited about. My personal favorite is the Black Edition Ready to Drink because it's got a whopping 35 grams of protein, and I'm always trying to get my protein.
Yeah.
Plus 27 vitamins and minerals, all in one handy bottle.
Access to quality, quick, and easy meals hasn't been this easy and taste this good since ever. Don't believe me? Take the leap and join the community of Hueligans. With this exclusive offer for new customers. 15% off plus a free gift with the code TechNewsDay15 at Huel, Huel.com. That is 15% off plus a free gift for new customers with the code TechNewsDay15 at Huel.com. Start your year off strong. Unlock a healthier, easier way to eat with Huel. Nutritionally complete meals in minutes so you can focus on what really matters.
And speaking of eating quick, this episode's also sponsored by Factor.
Yeah.
You ready to optimize your nutrition this year? Factor has chef-made gourmet meals that make eating well easy. They're dietitian approved and ready to heat and eat in 2 minutes so you can feel right and feel great no matter what life throws at you. Factor arrives fresh and fully prepared, perfect for any active, busy lifestyle. Lose up to 8 pounds in 8 weeks with Factor Keto meals based on a randomized controlled clinical trial with Factor Keto. Results will vary depending on diet and exercise.
With 40 options across 8 dietary preferences on the menu each week, it's easy to pick meals tailored to your goals. Choose from preferences like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, or Keto. Factor can help you feel your best all day long with wholesome smoothies, breakfasts, grab-and-go snacks, and more add-ons. Reach your goals this year with ingredients that you can trust and convenience that cannot be beat. And again, these meals are great. I'm always training for new races, and this is like the most consistent meal plan that I've been able to be on.
Less time cooking, more time running.
And a lot less time thinking about what I should eat that's actually going to fuel my body. Because, look, I make poor decisions when I go grocery shopping.
Yeah.
This makes the decision very easy. So you can eat smart with Factor, and you can get started today at factormeals.com/newsday50off. Use code newsday50off to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That is code newsday50off at factormeals.com/newsday50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. And now I'm going to take a drink of water because this air is deadly.
Yeah, it's not good.
Please become if you don't want to shop with our sponsors, become a supporting member today so we can buy more air purifiers for the office.
I need so many more. I need to stack my house with air purifiers.
They should build the whole house out of the air purifier.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't do that.
Okay, back to the news now, and we promised that we would finally talk about the strange case of Adrian Dittman. So I guess let's do that. We have seen many, many bizarre Elon Musk sagas over the years, but this has got to be the weirdest and dumbest so far. People have gotten really, really invested in the idea that Elon Musk has an alter ego named Adrian Dittman that he uses to shitpost on Twitter even more than he does under his real name. And to be fair, it's understandable why people think this. Adrian Dittman shows up in a lot of Twitter Spaces chats, and his voice sounds exactly like Elon Musk's. Here.
There's a bunch of things where it doesn't line up. I'll give you a few examples. One is I tend to not stutter as much. I don't have the same type of speech impediments, although they be very similar.
Okay, so the idea that Elon Musk is Adrian Dittman has been around for a while, over a year and a half. And based on the stuff that he posts about and the Spaces conversations that he gets involved in, the basic theory has been that Elon pretends to be Adrian as a sock puppet, to say nice things about himself, and also as a way to participate in conversations with far-right weirdos like Nick Fuentes without the media reporting on it. Dittman's posts are almost exclusively just him being a huge Elon dick rider with a side order of reactionary politics. And we know for a fact, via court documents, that Elon has, in the past, had an alt account where he pretended to be a little tiny baby. So this isn't as ridiculous as it sounds. It is plausible. But it's always seemed, to me at least, almost too weird to be true. I mean, it's not like there's any shortage of Elon dick riders out there. And it's not like Elon hasn't openly engaged with various far-right figures. Plus, most importantly, while the voice is pretty uncanny to a lot of people's ears, including me, including a lot of people who have listened to too much Elon Musk over the years, it's still not quite right. And that's especially the case when Elon and Adrian have both appeared in the same Twitter Spaces and spoken to each other.
Dude, are you going to break the internet and give me a follow back, please, sir?
Who are you?
Adrian?
Dude, this guy just joined the space and he sounded exactly like
that's
you.
great.
Like, no way.
Yeah, dude, that's fucking epic.
Like,
he's more articulate than the real Elon. That's what gets it for me, is like, Elon is terrible at talking and he mumbles a lot. Adrian Dittman is better at talking.
yeah.
He also pronounces some words weirdly differently than Elon. I mean, it's pretty uncanny. People are like, well, why does he have a South African accent? Like, Elon doesn't have a South African accent. Elon has an Elon accent.
Yeah,
that's not what South Africans sound like.
Of a prior, maybe partial accent.
Yeah, it's something else.
Yeah, yes. The Elon is Dittman theory, it's been simmering for a while, but of course it really kicked into high gear following two recent incidents. Now, the first one, someone claiming to be Adrian Dittman posted to 4chan in a thread where they not only fawned over and defended Elon Musk in a way that was so pathetic that it seemingly could only be Elon himself, but they also posted a screenshot of their Twitter feed, which upon close inspection contained links labeled admin portal and bans. Clearly, whoever took this screenshot is a Twitter administrator and not just some dude named Adrian Dittman. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. And oh boy, was what he posted to 4chan infinitely more cringy now that we knew it was Elon talking about himself.
He has a lot of sex.
He's getting laid, folks. Except, okay, according to tech journalists with contacts who still work at Twitter, the admin interface in the screenshot isn't real. It's not what actual administrators would see. Adrian Dittman, if that's even who posted the thread to begin with, must have doctored the screenshot specifically to fuel this kind of speculation, which makes sense in either case because Adrian Dittman does seem to really enjoy that people think he's actually Elon, and if it wasn't him who made the post, it's a great troll. And 4chan, of course, loves a great troll.
Yeah, when this was going around, my first immediate thought was just like, 4chan? Really? You guys are all falling for a 4chan thread? This is literally how QAnon started.
Yeah, anyone can go and post.
Yeah.
But they're posting screenshots from the Adrian Dittman. Okay, cool.
I'm going to show you something crazy. You right-click, and then you click on something called Inspect Element. This is going to blow your fucking mind.
You can change a lot of things around.
It's going to blow your fucking mind.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, a day after that, the Twitch streamer Connor Eats Pants had Adrian Dittman on as his guest to play Fortnite together and also grill him with questions. And the streamer clearly went into this conversation thinking that Dittman is Musk. And the answers to his questions, many of which were bizarrely evasive, definitely supported that view. There were some genuinely hilarious moments from this stream. My favorite being when he multiple times just said, "Name 3 women," and he couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, especially if you were of the belief that Adrian Dittman is just a thinly veiled sock puppet for Musk, yeah, this was like candy to you. But if you turn down your confirmation bias just a tad, it's still just as likely that this isn't Elon Musk's superfan who spends all day online and gets off on people thinking that he's secretly Elon Musk.
And as we've seen a little bit later on, Elon Musk is starting to get off on the idea that people think that this is him as well.
He does.
Yeah.
It's not definitive either way, though, at this point, but then, a day after that, The Spectator published an article claiming to have unmasked the real Adrian Dittman. And turns out it's a guy named Adrian Dittman, whose biographical details actually match all the stuff that Adrian Dittman has publicly said about himself on Twitter. Dittman has said that he's a German guy in his 20s who grew up in Gibraltar, lived in Morocco for a while, and now lives somewhere in Oceania. From the Spectator article,
the Fiji-based German Dittman fits this unique biography. His father lived for a period of time in Gibraltar, where his company has an office, according to a 2000 UK business filing for the software company that lists his country of residence as Gibraltar. The family relocated to Fiji at some point after 2012 when a company founded by Dittman's father, Totoka Islands, scouted Fiji as a place to invest in a forestry and farming development in the tropics, according to local news reports. Originally from Germany, Mr. Dittman has invested more than FJD $50 million in developing commercial agroforestry operations in remote areas of Fiji, the Fijian government announced. The family recently opened a solar-powered maritime lifestyle service warehouse for super yachts.
Fiji's Adrian Dittman in Fiji has a Google Maps profile with a profile picture of a young blonde man with a young woman. That woman is also tagged in his family members and family business social media accounts, appears in hand-holding couple photos on a Facebook account with the name Adrian Dittman, and alongside Dittman in a Fijian government video of a recent grand opening ceremony for the Dittman family's latest venture, the maritime retail space. That woman bears a resemblance to several pieces of AI artwork the Dittman X account created and posted of his, quote, significant other. Dittman on X replied to a comment explaining that the woman in the AI artwork was Filipina, just as Fiji Dittman's partner is, based on social media posts from her family members in Fiji.
I mean, I hope that she watched that Fortnite stream because he couldn't even name one woman.
Yeah.
And if he's married to one, you'd think that they'd be able to at least name that one.
That's a layup. You name your wife.
Dude, yeah, easy. The wife that you claim that have been posting about is and is no secret either.
Well, he doesn't think of her as a woman. She's something else.
Property.
Yeah.
So they go into a lot more detail, but let's turn now to the work of the actual researchers who published their findings independently after people questioned the reporting. The primary researcher, Maya Arsen-Crimu, is someone we covered a few years back when she gained access to the US government's no-fly list and published it to her ridiculous pink GeoCities-looking blog. She details first simply searching for Adrian Dittman on a tool that searches public data breaches, where she found an email and IP address. The IP was from Fiji, and the email led to some reviews he'd made on Google Maps. From there, she scoured Dittman's posts for clues and found that screenshots he posted that included dates and times confirmed he's in Fiji's time zone. She found an Adrian Dittman Instagram profile with connections to some other Dittmans, and it pointed to Adrian Dittman's dad being some prominent business guy out in Fiji, which led to photos and videos of Adrian Dittman at some public events. And then she found that Dittman's dad's business had previously put him in Gibraltar for several years. It's all coming together.
And there's other evidence for the Adrian Dittman account operating out of Fiji, like the power outlets and videos that he's posted, and the fact that Dittman's phone apparently only ever connects to 4G networks because Fiji doesn't have 5G. He also has talked about getting Starlink, and he did that right after Starlink went live in Fiji. And this isn't even all the evidence, but it definitely all points to Adrian Dittman being the Adrian Dittman who lives in Fiji and whose biographical details line up perfectly with what the Adrian Dittman account has been saying about himself, going back years. Yeah. I mean, I guess you could still argue that Elon Musk has been so dedicated to creating this character that he made sure to cover every base. But it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense that he'd go to that much effort to pretend to be some dude in Fiji and then not make any effort whatsoever to change his very distinct voice.
True.
Like, where's the logic there? People do find it weirdly hard to believe that an Elon Musk fan would spend all day online defending Elon Musk and would even try to talk like him and adopt all of his opinions. But like, no, that's not hard to believe at all.
In fact, that's the easiest thing to believe.
It's very believable. If you've been following this guy for, like, just look at their fucking replies to anything he posts.
This is
he has an army of freaks.
Occam's razor, clear case.
Yeah. What is harder to believe, actually, is that only one of his superfans has taken it this far.
Yeah. That's because he's the best.
He is the best.
He's the best.
And that's why Elon likes him. Like,
yeah.
Put yourself in Elon's shoes right now, where your ego just constantly needs to be stroked, and how ego stroking it would be if there was someone who had, like, modeled his entire life around you and other people thought he was you. Like, for a normal person, that'd be fucking weird. You'd be weirded out by that. But for Elon, it just confirms how important and cool he is.
I hate Elon Musk. Now, of course, it doesn't help that Elon Musk, like Adrian Dittman, seems to get a lot of weird enjoyment out of his enemies thinking they're the same person. And it also doesn't help that the Spectator article and the blog post, they were restricted on Twitter, and the researchers' accounts were suspended. Oh,
because they got too close to the truth.
Yeah. But I thought censorship wasn't allowed over there.
Well,
it's really not that surprising when you remember that the information they published definitely meets the very low threshold for what Elon considers doxing when it's people that he likes.
yeah.
If it's people he doesn't like, whatever. There's,
Yeah. You dox away.
And again, he likes that Blue Anon weirdos think that he's Adrian Dittman. So of course he's not going to want people reading a pretty comprehensive case for why he isn't Adrian Dittman. Anyways, it seems like some people really need this to be true to somehow prove once and for all that Elon Musk is a weird little freak, and we don't really understand that because there's already plenty of ample evidence that he is a weird little freak.
I don't need this to be true to know exactly who this man is.
In fact, it just reaffirms my beliefs that he's a freak because he has a bunch of other little freaks following his every move and pretending to be him.
He's the super freak. He's super freaky.
Yeah. Even with Adrian Dittman and Elon Musk being different people, that still only adds to the pile of the weird little freak evidence that is already out there.
Yeah. This doesn't exonerate anyone involved.
Complete exoneration. No, he posted, I am Adrian Dittman. Did you see that?
Yeah, I mean...
Because at this point, it only benefits him to throw more confusion.
He's a lay master troll. He's a child. I mean, we didn't even talk... Is he still going by Kekius Maximus? Like, he really sees himself as this, like, 2012 era 4chan troll. And from that perspective, like, you can understand why he'd get a kick out of all of this. It's a great troll.
His ketamine is administered by a medical doctor. And if he wanted to increase the dosage, that's his choice.
So there you go. I'm sorry to all the believers out there.
The believers.
The Dittman is Elon believers.
The Dittmen.
But as of now, I haven't seen any evidence that definitively puts the two of them together, and I'm seeing increasing evidence that they are in fact not the same person, and this is just some freak Elon Musk fan out in Fiji who is using the fact that he sounds kind of like Elon Musk.
They're both benefiting from it.
He's doing it for clout.
Yes.
Which again, Occam's razor. Makes a lot more sense.
Having said all of that, I am sure we'll have more updates coming up in the coming days.
I hope not.
No, not with this.
Oh.
With the fucking fires.
No.
I hope they're good updates. Okay? Okay, calm down. Updates.
I thought we were talking about Adrian Dittman.
No. The fires. It's awful. We're probably going to have more information on where you can direct any donations or goodwill in the very near future. Right now, it's very scattershot. Yeah. There's, obviously you can donate to the Red Cross. There's other local charities. There's businesses that have lost everything. There's people who have lost everything. There's lots of GoFundMes. We're donating as we see them, I guess, as they come in. Again, in the coming days, I'm sure that there'll be some kind of central hub that is very good that we can all donate to, and we will promote that. In the meantime, if you want to follow us on Blue Sky or Instagram, I've been posting resources and places where you can send donations or monetary donations. So please, I guess keep LA in your thoughts. It's not over yet. so far we're as unaffected as you could be outside of the air quality and having, mutual friends who are very affected by it. So it's been obviously a great toll mentally.
Yeah.
So hang in there. We'll be around, and thank you for watching the video. Please make sure you like the video. Obviously, it's been a bit of a weird landing coming back into this new year.
This year sucks.
As far as producing content, so we really do appreciate the constant support that you guys have given us by liking the video, leaving comments, and all of that stuff. Make sure you're subscribed. Our other videos are going to pop up over here. Please watch those, and we will see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.